Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are again. I hope you guys had a great night. I really appreciate what I've been saying since yesterday. I like the spirit behind this. This is it. He that putteth his hand, the book of life says, he that putteth his hand upon the plan, looketh by is not fit for the kingdom. If you said you want to succeed in this journey as a devil's engineer, you have to pour energies into it without looking back. So I really appreciate that. So, we did almost 50% of the containerization yesterday. So today, this morning, we'll be completing the other 50%. Yesterday, we saw how to create an image from scratch, from Docker, using a Docker file. Then how to create an image from existing container. Then we saw how to create microservices using Docker Compose. Now, when we talk about managing these containers, we have a special tool called, although it's not the only major tool, it's called Kubernetes. I would say 80% companies are now in Kubernetes. 20% might still be using Docker Swarm or Mesos. But Kubernetes have a lot of advantages.
Sorry to cut you, Kelly. I think you still have, I think there's a couple of labs left.
Yes. We have what?
You haven't.
We have which lab?
You stopped. Okay, you stopped at Kubernetes?
Yes, we did everything. It's Kubernetes.
You did, okay, sorry.
It's Kubernetes that we are doing right now. We did the microservice, yeah. So I'm only trying to explain to them before we go to the lab.
Okay, that's fine. Go ahead, sorry.
So, okay. So it's you will hear a lot like orchestration tools. So your interviewer may want to know which of these orchestration tools are you familiar with? So just tell them Kubernetes. So Kubernetes has a lot of advantages over others. So, and Kubernetes can be installed in so many ways, not just one way, okay? It can be installed on your on-prem servers. You can equally install Kubernetes on your computer, but some of them, that will be lacking some other important features. So Kubernetes can be installed on cloud, like AWS, Azure, Google as well. I have done a lot on AWS. I have done on Google Cloud. I've also done on-prem and one local machine. So I think it's only Azure that I've not really provisioned Kubernetes. And as a DevOps engineer, I would say 80% of the time or 90% of the time, Kubernetes must probably be provisioned in your environment. But something can come up. Your manager can say, hey, Greg, I just wanted to provision a cluster. So you should be able to do that. This is the main reason we are looking into Kubernetes as an orchestration tool. Orchestration means managing this container. What happens if container fails? What happens if container dies? What happens like scaling? I gave an illustration yesterday. Take for instance, on Black Friday, people who anticipate to shop, buy electronics of $10,000 for $3,000. They save for it. Amazon website should be able to accommodate the volume of traffic that will be hitting their URL that very day. Otherwise, it will crash. And imagine on that day, they are down for 10 minutes. They are losing millions of dollars. I think Yeso will not be able to accept that. The engineers in charge, I think, is going to fire them. So That is where Kubernetes come into place. It should be able, as the people are hitting, he will be provisioning pause, he will be responding, be giving the, by the time this says dies, you now start scaling back again to the required nodes. Okay, you don't have so much traffic coming. So it's very, very important, guys. I have a story I'm going to explain to us here, but before we do that, let's go and provision Kubernetes on AWS. The reason is like it will take us an average of 15 to 20 minutes for you to provision a cluster. So we just do that now. They will come back and I'll come and explain this one to you. Any question, guys? If there's no question, I will just go ahead and see. This is the lab that I have here. We are going to use Amazon Linux 2 for this. Look at it. Don't go and use Ubuntu. It's not going to work. Ubuntu has its own command. So this is what we are going to use. I'm going to take click select. For the purpose of the lab, I'm going to use TT medium. Okay, you can use TT small, but micro will not be ideal because your worker nodes will be too slow. In fact, in production, they have a minimum requirement. I think it's CM5 large. So just play around too, or if you want to go with me, you can go with T2 medium. Oh, before then, the first thing you need to do, you need to have an IAM role. That is the first thing. I say prerequisite. Create EC2 with Amazon with executable permission under security. I've already created that, but I'm going to show to you how to create it from scratch. I will delete that. What you do, let's go back again. Go back here I think under here, you are going to see my security credential. Click on it. Then it's going to take you to see, this is the role. You just click on your role. Then you click on create. This is the one that I have, but I'm going to create a fresh one to see. Click on create. Then click on EC2 because we are giving the executable permission to EC2. In the course of you provisioning this cluster, we are using a CloudFormation. We are giving it the permission to EC2 to provision a lot of stuff on our behalf. It's going to create routes 53. It will do even create some kind of S3 bucket. Then I think there is other thing that is going to attach. So you have to click on EC2, then click on next. This is where a lot of people have challenges in my in the previous classes. You will select administrative access. Administrative access means you are giving all full permissions to your EC2 to access every other resources on your behalf. You click on this. Click on this. Click this tag. Then you can put whatever there, but for me, I'll leave it. Then I'll give it a name. I'll just say, I will put a new EKS, anything. Just put, so just for you to differentiate it. Rule. I'll click on create. Now, if I come here, did you see this one? Yeah. New, this is the one I just got created new. So I already have this one which I created over a long time ago. So I'm going to delete it. But in your case, you don't need to delete it. So okay, I believe, yeah. Let's see if I deleted it's still there. Somehow. Okay. Then click on delete. It should be gone. Let me refresh. Then we are good. So once you create that, that is the prerequisite. That is what you see here. Everything that I just, then Go back to your EC2. Then I'm going to launch an EC2. Click Amazon Linux 2. I'm going to take it to medium. 4 gig RAM for speed. Then I'm going to choose one of my existing security group. Yeah, I'm going to launch. So this is going to be my master. This is going to be my Kubernetes master.
Kelly.
Yes, ma.
I didn't catch that part. Which instance did you just launch?
Okay, let's go back again. It's look at it, Amazon Linux 2, the first one.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, I thought we did that before.
Oh yeah, I went back to explain how to create a role. A role is the first thing that you need to create.
Okay.
Before coming back to create the instance.
Okay.
Because we will have to attach that role to the instance. So now let it come up. If you click here, you go to now. If you go to our lab, you see that I showed I said attach the role. The role created from above to the EC2. Click on security, modify IAM role, select the role that you created earlier. Let's do that. Click on that master. Click on action, go to security, you will see modify role. If you click here, it's going to populate. Look at it. This is good. Just click save.
Okay, so in this case, you're using the IAM role that you've created a long time ago.
Correct. Yes,
oh,
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but in your own case, once you create it, the name is already, so it will automatically populate here.
Okay, so say for example, I think I have an IAM role that I created before. I can use that instead of launching a new one.
Yeah, but let it have administrative.
Yeah, mine has that administrative.
Awesome, you can use that. That's good. Thank you so much. So I just have it now. Let me launch. Let me connect to it. I'm going to take the public IP as usual. Then you get your user. Take the key. This is my key. See, should be able to log in here. Awesome. So I'm going root as usual, then we'll clear. Let's start. Now, what we are going to do, as I said earlier, is that we have this code set of code that we are just going to pass to AWS. They will just pick your provision our cluster for us. This is what we are going to do straight away. You can also use the Terraform to provision what we are about to do right now. So pass this code one after the other. And you have to install pip. It's 3.
Sorry, Kelly, what is pip?
Pip is a kind of binaries. I think it's for Python based.
The Python package manager.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Used to install Python applications.
Right. So it's very popular. You'll be seeing it a lot during your career.
Was it Prince?
That was asking.
Yeah.
Prince.
Yes, ma'am.
Was it this pip, the same pip that we used in installing Ansible, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It's the pip. It's the same pip.
Okay.
Yeah. It's very common. So once you source it to your batch profile, this is how to know that if pip is already installed. Since pip is already there. So if you install pip2, it's not going to work with this code. So it has to be pip 3. I think they have pip, they have normal pip, they have pip 1 also. So the next thing we are going to install AWS CLI. Okay.
Sir, I have a question.
Go ahead.
How can you tell that your rule was added to your instance?
Okay, now right here, if it is not added and this step is going to fail, I will show you. Just giving me 1 second. Okay. So if for some reason you fail to attach your role, you have to perform this next step. You have to attach your access and secret key of your AWS account. If you don't do that, you are not going to proceed with this lab. It will not be able to work. See, under AWS configure, if I click on that, it's going to ask for my key. Did you see that? AWS access key. Because we already attach a role to our instance, it's an administrative privilege. It overrides this key that we are going to, that is requesting for at this moment. And in this stage, I will not even provide any key. I just press enter, then asking for secret access key. I press enter. They say which kind region, what type of region you want to use. Normally, when they started Kubernetes EKS, it was only on the Oregon region, but right now they have it in all the 5 regions in the United States. So for me, I think I'm in US East 1. That is where I have my resources. Then JSON, I just provide that. So if you don't attach it here, you have to pass your secret and access key there. So,
okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, I think here, the next thing, just copy this. Yeah, this face. Now,
hello, Kelly, sorry to cut it. The JSON and the other stuff you added, but it's not on the blog.
Oh, it's not on the blog. Okay, I think, but have you, okay, there is, we'll add it. Please just add it, but it's a common thing. I thought you guys are very
no. Yes, the blog is our guide.
Okay, please, so I bet put just add it there. Sorry for that. Okay.
All right, no problem.
Yeah. Now you see this code broke. I've been using this code for some time. Now we have to troubleshoot this one together. As a DevOps engineer, you were expected to see bugs like this. Why is no longer working? So most time, what we do is that Google is our guide. I want to go to Google to go and see. Someone must have reported what I'm trying to achieve. Someone must have done these things before. Hold on. Yeah, we'll do it in 1 minute. It says Z not found. Let me see. Someone got this same error and documented it somewhere. No. May 1st, 2018, 4 years ago. No. This guy said 2019. No. Okay. Okay. Let me do something. Hold on. This is a GitHub of installing. Let me go to this GitHub address. Don't worry, we'll update the blog. It doesn't take us much time to do that. Let me see, go to download this latest. Yeah, here we go. The GitHub address. It's official by AWS installing. Let's see. Okay, did you see? It said EKS CTA is a simple CLI tool for creating cluster on EKS. Okay. Download. Okay. Installation. Okay. Okay, now did you see if you are maybe you are working, maybe your manager just said okay, go and provision. I think the minimum requirement, basic requirements M5 large. Okay, so now let's use this one. Let's take this code. Say for ARM55, please change this one to this. Okay. Also, Prince, I beg, do you have access to Prince? Okay, I will change it before we finish.
All right, you know what? Just send me the code.
Yeah, I just sent it to you now.
All right, cool. I'll update it.
Yeah.
I'll replace it with that one.
Yeah, I'll replace it, and that place in put a JSON and default region.
Okay.
Then, guys, might depend on the region you are using. You have to put your region. Okay. So we're good now. We can proceed with this stuff. So the next thing, you don't need to do this one again. Just check the version of your EKSCTL, if it's there or not. Oh, sorry. Yes, awesome. 0.767.
Excuse me, Kelly.
Yes, ma.
So when you said put your region, that
Yes.
means you're replacing that place that has USR/local with what?
Oh no, region. I mean, you know, there was a place we clicked on configure, AWS configure. This is what I'm talking about.
Okay.
It will request for region. So it told the, but you know, we have is it Ohio, Virginia?
Yeah. So you just have to make sure that
yes, it depends on where you are located. Normally, our best practices is that provision your resources in the region that is closest to you. Like for me, I think Virginia is closer, Ohio or something like that. So this is how you determine that. See, US 1 is Virginia, US 2 is Ohio, California, and I think West 1 is California, West 2 is what? Oregon. I thought they have 5 United States, you see? It's 4. Oh, okay. Now the only one serving Africa is in the Cape Town. If like Nigeria website now companies now, it's advisable for them to launch their resources in South Africa because that's one, it will reduce a lot of latency. They should provision their resources here. Thank you for that. Just like so, let's go. Any other question, guys? Let's continue. So once we do that, we check our version is correct. It says if you get an error or command us to enter the below. So we are going to change this. So don't do this command again. So the next, yes, someone.
What's the essence of installing this EKS CLI?
It's a utility-like command. See, it's a simple utility-like command for your EC2 to be able to interact with Kubernetes cluster. We have to install this EKCTL. It's a interactive tool.
Okay.
Yeah, did you see that? It's clearly stated here. This is official GitHub maintained by AWS. They want this. Okay. So they always come here, you see, maybe they worked on it like they see this 2 days ago. 2 days ago, they see this. Oh, sorry, this is 2 days ago. They see this something here. Okay. There are developers I see, contributors all over the world, 27 contributors. I don't know how they do it. These are developers, they do it, and sometimes you can just look up something that was working yesterday and this morning to no longer be working because of bugs or because of maybe security patches or whatever. Okay. So when you face issues like that, first go on internet. I think there's Stackflow, one popular website where people always try to document their findings, because what we are trying to achieve, someone must have done it before. I must have documented it somewhere. It might be your first point of reference. Then along that thing, you can watch YouTube. Even we that is in the field, we still make reference a lot. Okay, so this is what we just did now. So let's continue. We will come back. Let's think, have I executed this command? Let me see. Okay. Then give it executable permission. I will come and explain to Ross because so that this will just be provisioning. This is good. Let's see this one. It's good. Awesome. Let's copy everything here. Let's see. After you have executed all the command, the next command will be the one that is going to provision your cluster. I'm going to explain to you. See, I say provision of cluster creation, red deletion of cluster. I'm going to copy this one here. Let me put it in my editor. Okay. Create. I'm going to use. Let me use 6 here. So mind you, the name that is used in creating your cluster, the same name you are going to use to delete. Okay, so I said region. I want to put it in the region which I have my resources. I'll put one. I said TT. Okay, I need 3 nodes minimum. This is where I'm one minimum. I'm telling WL at least let 1 node, but maximum it cannot be more than 3. This you can play with. It can be 4, minimum 2. So it all depends on the instruction your manager is giving to you. So you just copy everything because as we said earlier, Kubernetes is very, very expensive. See, this, once you get to this stage, this will take like 15 to 20 minutes for the cluster to be ready. Now let's go back to the story to go and read and get our blog. Okay, this is 727. Yeah, what is Kubernetes? I've explained a couple of times a construction to which manage your container. So, say Kubernetes is an open source, portable, extensible, and open source platform for managing containerized workload and service. It facilitates both declarative and configuration automation. Okay, these are our stories. We will just read this one. It said it was created about 2014. If you want to know more about
sorry, Kelly, to cut you short, I'm updating those changes you referenced.
Okay, should I refresh?
So you said during the AWS configure, you need to enter your region. Okay.
Yes.
JSON as what? What's JSON? What is
the format is JSON. You know, normally,
okay.
yeah. We have JSON and YAML, but we are using JSON.
What else? And what else? What are that?
What they call this command that I passed to you.
No. Yeah, I've updated that.
Okay, but I will refresh it.
AWS.
Yeah, that is the only thing that we need to just update.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can, if you want to know a little more about Kubernetes, let's see.
Sorry, can you refresh and tell me if it's
yeah, okay. I will refresh it now. Let's see. Sorry guys for the okay, let me go down to see. Oh, this is the command I sent to you, right?
You have to, yes, that's the command you sent to me.
So remove this very one. Remove this very one. No need for them to pass this one across.
Are you sure? Because
yeah,
send that too.
Okay, hold on. Let me.
That one also.
Okay, wait. Once I finish, I'll do history and let me copy it out from you. Okay.
All right, that's fine.
Yeah. Then let's go to. Yes. Okay, let's enter your region, your format. Okay, this is fine. At least okay. Your region, like in our case, US is one. So they can. It all depends on where they are located. So let's continue. Let me explain to you. So if you want, it's good you don't need to, but it started by Google's 2014, but right now they have a native platform that are doing a lot of contributions to it. All this we did yesterday, where we have virtualized deployment, container deployment. Yesterday I explained to us like virtual machines, they have their own operating system. Because of that, it's pretty heavy. Develop parts, they don't have that kind of patience, and they utilize a lot of your resources of the host. But in the case of container doesn't have its own operating system, made use of the operating system of the host. Because of that, it's light where we saw that, where we can be able to start, stop, restart, and we're all coming up early. So these are the same thing that we are trying to explain here. But now, the most important thing we have to look at, let's go to, you see, okay, Kubernetes provide you with service delivery and load balancing. Let's say, for instance, you have your container sitting on here and your traffic is coming to your URL. Once it comes in, the first thing it does is going to hit your service. No, like your ingress. Ingress can be able to distribute your balance, your traffic, hit your service before exposing your application to outside. Well, we are going to see all that. Okay, we do what we call a rollout, update, and rollback. Say, for instance, you have a site like this, and the developers, they came up with something new. You want to roll out. You don't want your entire site to be down. So what we do in that case, we roll out a new feature. Then if for whatever reason, the feature is not working as intended, they can say, hey, Greg, the feature we just roll out is not working as intended. Can you roll back to the previous version? That is what we call rollback in Kubernetes. Kubernetes does what we call self-healing. Say, for instance, you have a pod. Normally, we saw yesterday I was able to start a container, but in the case of Kubernetes, this container, they run in a kind of enclosure. We call it a pause. Okay, and if for some reasons this poor face, okay, what Kubernetes will do, the master will do, keep sending a kind of API response to say, hey, my friend, I had an instruction that 3 containers have to be running at all time, and I just find that one is dead, and it sends a kind of response to the one that is not responding. I say, hey, my friend, can you wake up? It's like, or you send the first response, maybe after 3 seconds, the guy is not responding. Are you there? You send another after 3 seconds, the guy is not responding. What he does, the master will kill it. It will kill it. And what it does, it will provision another. Because I have already received an instruction that 3 has to be available at all time, it will provision another one. We are going to see all that. That is the beauty of Kubernetes. Let's see. This is taking time. So now, this architecture is very important. Let me explain to you. See, this is the master. I wish I can make this. This is the master. This is the node, equal worker nodes. Okay. The master doesn't take load. It's this Kubernetes loads that you have your application running. So what the master does is that it will be the one doing the scheduling. We'll see something that we call replica set, the number of posts that is desired. Since for whatever reason that number of posts is not available, this worker master will be the one say, hey, something is missing. I was told that 5 should be running. Why is 3 running, or why is 4 running? He will send an API call to you, say provision another one. The scheduler will also be there. So let's go through there. Yeah. It says, if new pods containers are needed, where would they fit? So the scheduler consider this. Okay, that may want to join. Consider the resources need the pod, such as CPU or memory, along with the head of the cluster. So we have all this, like the configuration that we just did now is to be located in in etcd, all the configuration that is relating to the installation that we are about to do right now. So so the master itself will be the one watching all the nodes, the worker nodes. Like in our case now, we have these nodes as steady. Don't forget, in your work environment, you can have 4. I think I've seen like 4. I've seen 5. It all depends if these companies are willing to pay. But the advantage of using EKS is like AWS will be in charge of providing the security update, the security patches and everything. You just go to bed and they manage your workload for you. They handle the scaling of your application. If for some reasons, maybe your company is the one they don't want to pay, they are using like COPS. I can have installed in COPS like Ubuntu. You can install it on individual. So you have to be responsible in managing the patches, the security, everything, the upgrade. You have to do that. So maybe you guys also use like what we call mini-queue. That's another one. I think mini-queue in most cases is for development environment. You can't use that for testing or production. So you can only use like COPS for your testing, but the best you go to the Elastic Kubernetes service. So wherever you find yourself, and if you require any kind of resources, if you think you can't find them on internet, we are already here for you guys. We are a family. We won't leave you until you make sure you are crushing it really good. So you see, as a pod, it's a smallest, simplest unique Kubernetes object model. It represents a single instance of an application. Each pod is made up of container, okay, or series tightly coupled. Don't forget, you can have multiple containers in a single pod. You saw yesterday we provisioned microservices, like we had different applications tightly coupled. They need to be able to communicate among themselves using their virtual network. We saw it yesterday when we did sorry for that. Is it Docker container? Excuse me. So we saw that yesterday. So okay. Once you, let me see, this will take time, guys. It's just once you just provision it, be patient. In fact, go and get a cup of coffee or water and come back. Once you get to your environment, maybe they already have an EKS, any other this thing, and they configure your machine for you. The first thing that you're able to connect to your cluster, the first thing you need to do to just find out the cluster they have. This is using CloudFormation. Let's go. Let me show you that what is currently using to provision this area. I believe you guys are familiar with CloudFormation. Yeah. This is, yeah, it's see coming up. That's not started. Let me see how this, okay, waiting for CloudFormation. So it will start. Once it starts, it pop up. Then once you finish, then right here, since I said it should provision in my region, I have 2 instances currently running. 1 instance, this will be 4. This is my master. The remaining 3 will be my worker nodes, where we can be able to handle my application. Okay, so let's wait for this and let me take questions why this will provision. Any question? Yesterday, today, anything? Let's talk. Wendy, I like your spirit. You really see why. I appreciate you guys at least for taking. Sorry if I didn't mention your names. The ones, the name that I've been seeing so far. So,
hello, sir.
Yeah, sorry.
My name is, good morning.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a question, sir. My name is Olaide. Please, do you mind explaining the architecture of Kubernetes again?
Very good.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Let me go to my blog. Okay, see, I said this is the Kubernetes architecture. We have a master. Okay, let me give you our official Kubernetes website. Kubernetes. Okay, I use this one. Yeah, this is the official website. Let me see. I can get it better. Drag the Kubernetes architecture diagram. Let's see. Yep. Okay, let's see something. Okay, let me see this one. This one is, let me see, this one will be bigger for us to see. What's wrong with this internet? Come up. Oh, shit, sorry for this. Okay, let me see this one. Even, oh, see the one I use on our blog, I got it from the internet here.
So,
Maybe I'm going, but go ahead.
What? Oh, my name is Dami.
Yes, Dami, go ahead.
Good morning. So while you were discussing the architecture the other time for the Kubernetes, you talk about like it's a scheduler.
Yes.
So I'm just tracking back. So there was time we were working on Jenkins and we created a master node and a slave node.
Right.
And so during that period, the architecture was like, it can execute a build job, I mean the master node, and also like dispatch it to other nodes to do that.
Right, right.
So can same thing happen in the Kubernetes architecture, or the only thing master node can do is just like schedule the job? It can do like
no, master will not handle your job. It's your worker node that is going to handle your job. What the master does is we do the scheduling. All the schedulings will be done on the master. It will be the one making the API call from the master to the node. Say, for instance, the required number of replica set that will require to run your application. It will ensure that that number is maintained at all time. Your configuration, I wanted to expand it so that I can show it to you, but I don't know what is wrong with my stuff. Okay, let me use it. Sorry for that. See, he will not be able to handle it. Okay, if your API code is being made.
Kelly,
yes,
I sent a screenshot on WhatsApp.
Okay.
Let's see if that expands.
Coming up, yeah. Reload. Let's see. I'm using 1 gig. I don't know what is wrong with my internet today. I'm not getting it. Is it on WhatsApp? This is our WhatsApp?
Yeah, it's supposed to be there.
It's not popping up.
Maybe you only paid half the month. I'm just kidding.
Maybe. Yeah, it's okay. I wanted to so that, but this is the architecture. Just have that at the back of your mind that the master doesn't handle your job. Your post will be run on the worker nodes. What the master does is that he will be the one monitoring them, making sure that they are doing the job as required. He will make sure that this
Hello, Kelly.
Yes, sir.
Sorry, are we supposed to create 3 worker nodes?
As I said earlier, it's like if I'm doing my lab, I can use 2. I only use 3 just to demonstrate to you, because by the time we start deploying an application, I'm going to go to each of those worker nodes to tell you that my application will be available at all the worker nodes at any given time. So it's not really necessary for you to create 3. You can use 2, you can use 4, you can use 1. But in a real work scenario, your manager will tell you the number of worker nodes that you need to spin up.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
And
so, yes,
so
sir.
Another thing, it's Damilola again. So whatever worker nodes you're putting in, you're setting up there must be within the range of the node we specified within the code.
Correct.
During the code, you put the minimum and the maximum node.
Correct. Absolutely.
So it must fall within those range.
Great. Correct. Yeah. That's correct. So now you just have this one.
Can I ask a question, please?
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, my name is Chidima. I have a
thank you so much.
Could you go up a little bit?
Yes, sir.
Just go up. I want to see where you load the code. Could you keep going up?
Oh, where I loaded the code.
Okay. So where do you declare? So keep going on, going down.
Right here.
Right here. So yeah, I heard you talk about how many worker nodes. So when your manager tells you what to do, is this where you change the where you actually change the number of?
Correct. Absolutely. Exactly. See here, I said here is going to be what T2 medium, but I show you this documentation that tells us that look, the minimum production have to be what 5 large. So what you do in that case, if you are selecting your instance, you have to go and take I think M5 large. Where is M5 large? You have to see, because I'm using a free tier. M5 large will not. Let's see if I'm see M5 large. This is the one you come and take. Let me hold on. Let me see. Sorry. Let's see. M5 what? M5 large. Okay, M5 only just M5 large. So what I'm going to use normal M5 large. This see, M5 large is telling me this has to be what 8 gig RAM. So the speed is up to 10 gigabytes. This is what we need to do. But sometimes your manager, the cloud architect, will tell you, oh, this is even too small because of the workload of your application. So can go to like M large, S2 extra, which is 32. So can go to 8, which is 1. But the higher you go, the higher the cost they are going to incur at the end of the month. But for the case of our lab, which we are just playing with, we are saying we are using T2 medium. Don't use the too small. That should make your cluster so slow. So if I specify 4 here, for instance, if I specify 4 here, at the end of the day, we are going to get 4 worker nodes later. Okay, so this is where you pass the instruction. Because it's just this instruction we are providing to the cloud formation to provision our cluster and our BRC. So you see, it's still waiting for it now. It will start creating pretty soon. It takes time. I don't know. It has been like that.
No, I understand that. So my question is this now. If go back to that code again.
Yeah.
So we can actually do, for example, now you can, let's assume your manager can tell you do 5x large or whatever, and now tell you to use like a provision or maybe 4 worker nodes. Is that possible? So they have to tell you how many worker nodes you have to provision, and they have to give you the specifics of how many worker nodes you need to. So in that case, if you come here, you can do minimum 1, then do maximum 4.
Absolutely. Correct.
That is. Okay, yeah. That's what I mean.
Because another thing is, although the company they're paying DevOps engineer, they are also very skeptical about BIS they are receiving from AWS or the cloud providers. So,
hello, Kelly.
Can we go back to the architecture again, sir? You didn't finish your mention.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hello, Kelly. Please, I want to quickly ask.
Yes.
Do we need to create instance for each worker node?
No, it's going to provision the instance for us. Just let it finish. You are going to see the instance. It will come up. You don't need to create that. We just pass the instruction to the class formation, piece it up, and just provision it into our BI. Did you see that? This is pretty soon. 2 minutes will be done. Let me go to. I will go to that. Did you see? It just came up on its own.
Please, I have one question.
Go ahead.
So the other time you are saying something about when like a worker node is down and you are getting a response, and the master node is telling you like something is wrong with that node, and you respond, it can kill it and go
the pod.
It can kill it and go provision another one.
Right.
So the question comes here. Now, when you set your max here to be like 4 nodes, now at the beginning, is it going to provision all the 4 nodes, or
Yeah,
is going to provision like 3?
It's going to provision all the 4 nodes. Now, where he's going to kill the application is your container runs on your pod. It's not killing the node, it's going to kill the pods where your container is running. Your nodes will have to be available. The reason why we are using those 3, 4 is that at least for whatever reason, 1 is down, 2 will still be running, serving your customers. So it's not killing the node, sorry, it's killing the pod where you have your container. So one more time, because I think our cluster will soon be ready. See, I said, look at the architect. I wanted to expand so that we see it very well. You should see, this is my worker node. This is my master. In master, we have the API server. Every Windows API, application program interface. It's like it does a kind of communication. Say, for instance, I think in Jenkins, you do your webhook configuration where you push the code and Jenkins picks it and start building your application. Okay, that is the kind of making an API call. So every interaction, like managing this worker node, this master will be responsible for it. It has a minimum requirement like this etcd. The configuration that we use in setting up this nodes is stored here. Okay, scheduler, what does scheduler do? Scheduler will ensure that the number of replicas, we are going to see that during this demo. It will ensure that the number is maintained at all time. He's the one doing the scheduling. Oh, I got instruction that 5, 10 have to be available. And for whatever reason, he faced, and hey, gentlemen, why are you sleeping? You have to wake up. He's not responding. He kills the pod. He provisions another one. It doesn't waste time. It doesn't have that kind of patience to say, maybe I have malaria or headache or this kind of stuff. No, he just terminates it, and because he has to make sure that that pod is available. So he does it. But I think, so this is what this master, which I have here. I think by now, see my code, our cluster is ready. If look at it now, I have one here. If I refresh it, you are going to see all these worker nodes. They are going to come up. Did you see that?
Yeah. So another question
this is 1,
now.
2, 3. These are my worker nodes. These are going to be my work. This way we have my application. Sorry. Now this 4 is my master that is going to be managing these 3 workers, because I gave an instruction that 3 has to be available at all times. That is why it's provision 3 for me. Go ahead, sir, with your question.
So within one node, like, does it have the maximum number of nodes? Like, I mean, the pod. Because I can see that architecture that we have several pods.
Yeah, it doesn't have no.
Nodes.
It all depends. You have to set that the number of pods that you want to be running at, or we'll get there. That's what we call replica set. So we are going to see that right away. So you will not determine. I said, okay, I need 10, I need 5. It all depends on how large, I mean, in terms of the instance you are using. Okay, if for instance you are going to use like T2 medium or T2 small, make sure you reduce the number of replicas because it's going to be slow. Okay, so now let's go. You see, I say it takes 10 to 15 minutes to provision. This guy is not this time to come. So as I said, once you get connected to your cluster, the first thing you need to do to just see the information by your cluster, you do this command. We'll be using CTS so much. Don't forget we saw that utility like command. This is where it's something that as a DevOps engineer you need to be very familiar with. So now it's ready. Just let my terminal. I'm going to do that command here. CTS get node. Enter. Is going to give us information about all the nodes that we have. Did you see? Give us 3. These are the worker nodes where we have. Okay, I think right now they have 1.20. Okay, so now I want to deploy the first application in this cluster. I want to deploy an NGNS. Okay, see. Now, look at it. I'm giving instruction for 5 replica set. What that means is that in each node, I want 5 pods to be running at all time. This is the instruction that I'm passing here. Okay, so you press enter. Okay, it said deployment app created. Where did he get this container from? He got it from Docker Hub. If you do get post, let's get post to see the post that we just deployed. Did you see that? I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ready quickly because we are making use of T2 medium. Now they are already in running state. Okay, now look at the time it got created about 18 seconds ago. It's already, if I want to get my deployment, I do kubectl get deployments. Did you see 5/5? It's not ready. Okay, let me get kubectl get pause again. You see the timing. In fact, if you get to your company, you do this kubectl get pause, you will see some pause that have been running like 2-3 years. 700 days, 1,000 something days, 65 days. It all depends on when the container has just been deployed. So now let me do small magic for you to see the beauty of Kubernetes. I want to delete one of the pods. kubectl delete. I'm going to use this one. Pause. Any of these pods. Let me take this guy. Got deleted for some reason. The guy is dead. Now I want to do kubectl to get the post again. Now something just happened. The master just says that, hey, I have an instruction that 5 posts should be running at all time. What happened? One is missing. You say quickly, you have to create another one. So do ctl get pause. Guy, if you look at it, the last 4 posts has been 2 minutes, 2 seconds. This one, it was just 29 seconds ago. What the master will do, immediately he will send an API call to the worker node and say, hey, I got an instruction. What happened? One is missing. It will what? Provision another one immediately. Let me inspect. I want to describe this pod. kubectl. Describe. I want to see pause. Any of these pods. You can describe your pod. You get all the information by the pod. So did you see that? It said container, AGNS, successfully put, started. Where did he got the information from? We got it from Docker Hub, which we'll be playing with. This is information that he got with the official AGNS. This is where he put this image. It has been put over 1 billion times. So now I want to view this website application externally. In Kubernetes, we have what we call service. We will get there. Service is what we use to expose our application to us. As I told you guys yesterday, the way container is being made is like it communicates in form of a bridge network, a kind of cluster. For you to expose it, you need to give an instruction to it. So we have, and we have different type of service. In case you are asking interview, we have a load balancer. We are going to see that right away. Then we have IP node port type. Yeah, node port type. There's another one which is not too common. It's the IP cluster type. So now I want to expose it. You see, I'm giving an instruction to my Kubernetes. Yes, someone is saying something. I said, look, now here, guys, here, if you are using node port or load balancer, I will show you the node port later. Make sure that your L is on capital letter, B is on capital letter. If you use small letter or tree, it's going to fail. So now this is going to create a load balancer for me. Expose, you see, it's already exposed. Let's go and check the load balancer that he created. Go to your AWS, go to your load balancer. You will see that load balancer that he just created. This is the load balancer. It just got created. That's it. Let me delete it and recreate.
I have a question about the load balancer.
Go ahead, sir.
So
no, you know load balancer is AWS. Yes.
Yeah.
So go ahead. It balances your traffic. What he does is balance your traffic to your application.
Okay. I just want to make sure. Like that.
Yeah, that is what he does. Yeah. But in a real life scenario, you don't determine, say, okay, I will use a load balancer, or I will use your manager will tell you. We will see the another one, the node port. In most cases, I think it's the node port type that I've been seeing a lot in my past projects. So, but load balancer is also very realistic. So now my application has already been exposed. Let me go and view my application. As I said, it can be in any of these worker nodes, anyone. Let me take, okay, this one is one of them. I will take the IP address. I'm going to take the IP address. In case you want to know more about this, is the official website like we have in Docker yesterday. Then look at, it creates a kind of random port. Okay, it creates a kind of random port, which, I missed that. Pick up the address. Hold on, let me. It's 32,571. Okay, let me go back there. 32,571. This looks like security. Same thing we did yesterday. What we do is that we go to the security group, open that same port, and let's see. Add it here. 3,571. Traffic from anywhere. Save it. So, did you see that? Awesome. Did you see your GNS had just been deployed? Right now, this is my application. If I give you this site and put it in your browser, you are going to see it. Know that. But see, the beauty is this application, you can, if you go to this, if you go to this worker nodes, this is worker node 1, you will see this application, hit it, you will see it. If you go any of these worker nodes, you are going to see it. This is the beauty of Kubernetes, irrespective of name. So if for the reason why we use higher number or maybe 2, minimum of 3, don't use 1, because in case of 1, there is no high availability. If for whatever reason something happens to it, mini application will be done. Minimum, the ones I've seen, minimum I've seen is 3, I've seen 4, I've seen 5. So any of them, you will always have your application running. So, but what we just did now is not just the best way we deploy application in Kubernetes. There's what we call a deployment and service file, which we are going to do next. In fact, that is what you'll be doing a lot as a DevOps engineer.
So, excuse me.
Go ahead, sir.
It's not. So if I understand this now, so what it does is like it replicates all those applications in all those pods. So if one pod is down, the application is still running on another pod.
Correct.
Okay.
Now, this is, I want to delete the post now. Okay, QCTL, get deployment. Now, I want to delete my deployment, QCTL, delete deployment. Then, what is the name of my deployment? Sample AGNS. Now, I already deleted. If you go back here, you see my application will be gone. That will be done. It's already gone. Then I need to delete this service as well. You see here, delete service. You can spell service like this if you are working, or you can spell service like SVS is the same thing. So it's the same thing. So GNS service is gone. If you go and check, excuse me, the load balancer that he created, it will no longer be there. That will be gone. You see, it's gone. Now, this is the right way. Let's go to the proper way we deploy in Kubernetes. Let's go to our blog. I see, copy the load balance, the IP address, we have it. We are going to use deployment file. Okay, this deployment file, I will explain to you so that the name of the deployment file is the name of the app itself. You don't determine that until the developer or your manager will tell you. So let me see why this is taking forever. Come on. This guy is sleeping. See the reason why sometimes it's good for you to, okay. LS, okay, nothing's there. Now I want to create my first deployment file. See, you create your deployment file in YAML format. YAML. I call this name demo app 01.yaml. Press I. Then you just copy this your deployment configuration. I will explain it to you. In fact, in most cases, if you already have a cluster provision in your workplace, this file will already be there. The only thing you'll be playing with as a DevOps engineer is just the image. They just say, hey, we are going to deploy application 3.1 something, something, something. That is what we just come here. What you need to do, just come and change the image. Now, if you looked at this, this is our version, R1. These are all standard according to the developer. The kind of deployment we are doing is deployment. The name of my deployment is deployment app. Sorry, deploy one is the name of the deployment. The app is RV1. Now I say here, replica set. I want 3 pods to be running at all time. Let me change it to 4. So yeah, we have. Then my image. Now let me go to my image. Guys, I'm going to give you this image because it's not on the site. The reason why it's not on the site is that recently Docker came up with a policy. There are a number of images that you can pull per month after we start charging you. So if I put it there, this blog is on net, people will start pulling it and I might be blocked. So I'm going to share this image with you guys. What I expect you guys to do, the same thing happening with other classes. Put this image, it's a public repo, pull it to your local, tag it, and push it to your own repo. So you now becomes your own image. You can play with it in your future. So there are 2 images. The first one is V1. I think it's better I put it on. Should I put, okay, let me put it on here. Okay, oh, got you. Thank you so much for that. The second one is just the same thing, just version 2. Please, guys, copy that and keep it somewhere. Very useful to know. So now I'm going to change this image here now. So I'm going to say they tell, oh, Kelly, go and deploy version 1. I just put it here. No. Come on, that's not the information that I'm getting here. Okay, it's the same, sure. I want to be sure of the name. Okay. Deployment v1, I will save it. Then I will, how do you create what? Your Kubernetes deployment file. Very easy, kubectl create -f, then your deployment file name, -f, you just file name. Press enter. It's a deployment RD1, it's already created. If you do kubectl get deployment, you see my deployment will be there. You see 4, just ready quickly. Because of T2 micro, if I do kubectl get pause, is there. If I delete one, you see it's going to come off. So now let me go and expose this application. I need to view this application. We'll create what we call service file. We'll have it in the blog. I say create service file below. I'm calling the name of that service file, service file 01. Press enter, then copy everything here. Yeah, just see. Now, instead of using a load balancer, I said we have load balancer and load port. I am giving instruction to Kubernetes that I want this my application to be exposed. I want it to be exposed at 32,000. Here, as I said, your manager will tell you, or the developer will say 888,999, as the case may be. The type of service, the name of the service is going to be service SVC1. So this is what, see, I said the node port has to be capital N and P has to be capital. So you save it, you also create the service file, create -f, service file name is what? Awesome. We do kubectl get SVC, you see that. It's already created 5 seconds ago. Let's go and see. Yeah, let me take the first one here. Let's go and see. I take the public IP. I'm going to put it about 32,000. Don't forget 000. Looks like security issue again. The same thing we did. Go to your security group. Open your security group. Then open port what? 32. I think this one I already used this one. Yeah. 32,000 from anywhere you save it. Come back here to see your application. Awesome, guys. This is your application that we just deployed. This is, if you do this one, that same email that I share with you, you are going to see this URL. So now we just did our 4 deployment of Kubernetes. So go ahead, sir.
Yeah, sorry. I just saw on your instance just now that you didn't have port 22 open. Is there a reason why?
The reason because I'm not connected. The port 22 is for what? It's for SSH. Yes. I'm not SSHing because in real life, your manager, they will not allow you to SSH into your cluster as much. Okay, but if you go to my master, you will see that SSH port is there. Let me show you what kind of. You see port 22?
Oh, okay. I see.
But in your worker, where the money, they don't, for security reasons, they don't unless allow, except you are the one that provision the cluster, maybe you want to do a kind of upgrade, all this kind of stuff, they will not give you access to be able to connect to your cluster. The only best bet you can do is to interact with your cluster from your command line, from your computer. So that is why 22 is not opened.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome. So now this is my application. It's right here. So we just deploy this one. Let's go to the next constraint, guys. We're progressing. As I said you can always do node port and load balancer, which is we already showed to you. If you want to do the type of load balancer, just go straight down to change your node port to load balancer. Easy. Now, I explained to us earlier that we have what we call a rollout. Please note this: rollout and rollback on Kubernetes. Okay, I said, how do you roll out? Say, for instance, you have a new feature you want to roll out. We call that rollout. And for whatever reason it fails, you want to roll back to your previous version. That is what we call rollback. I said, open your deployment file. Where is my deployment file? This, Okay, this is my deployment file. Open it. Oh, sorry, wanted to recreate it. So intelligent. I said, open it. Yep, this is it. Then they say, hey, Kelly, we have a new feature we want to roll out. How do we do that? We just go, which is already sitting on a container, an image, but you need to roll it out. So it's version 2. Of course, it's in your repo. I just come straight here. Nothing I will do. I just change it to that version. If it is 0 point something, just change it. Then I save it. Then we use roll apply command. I'll be asking this one a lot to catch people if they understand the Kubernetes. Here we are using create command, but we use apply command to roll out. See, I'm going to use this command. If I use create again, it's going to fail. So just apply. Did you see that? It said deployment apps configured, rollout. Now, let's see the status. You can use this to check the status. If you roll out, you will see the magic of Kubernetes. Successfully, say deployment rollout successfully. Very good. Now let me get the replica sets. Let's see if the maximum is there. Guys, did you see that? The desire, this one, this was the one that created 6 minutes 55 seconds ago. It became 0. While this new one, the new feature is what? Is 29 seconds. Okay, let's see. The same thing is going to give you more information about that. If you do this, you see, it's going to say from 0 to 1 to 3. The other one will be from 3, 4, 3 to 1. Now let me go to my URL to go and see if I got a new deployment. If I refresh, did you see that? This is my version 2 application. I just roll it out. This is just roll out. Now let's continue. If for whatever reason, they try to roll it hard, there's some problem here and there. They say, hey, Steve, the version that we rolled out is pretty faulty. Can you just roll it back to our previous version? Maybe there's a bug, it's not working as intended. This is what we call rollback command. This is, you just come here, do this command. Yeah. Let me clear the terminal. I said kubectl rollout, undo deployment. What is the name of the deployment? Deployment 1. Reverse to which version? Version 1. So depends on the version you are going to deploy. You have to revert to that. If it is version 3, say version 3. I'm going to press enter. It says rollback. Okay, if I do the get replica set again, you are going to see what will happen. Yeah. Did you see? It went back to 8 minutes, 54 seconds. Now, if I go back to my site application. If I refresh, you see, went back to the blue. We just demonstrated how we do rollout and rollback in Kubernetes. So the difference is if you are deploying application from scratch, maybe a fresh application, you use a kubectl create. But whenever you are doing a kind of rollout, you use an apply command. Any question before we go to the last concept, which is the blue-green deployment? The blue-green deployment.
Okay. Wow. So all this is happening in the master node, right?
Is what happening in the master nodes is the one that is dictating to the worker nodes to be executing the instruction that you are passing. It was the one that it doesn't handle the load. The node itself is on the worker nodes. So the instruction we're passing right now, because don't forget I'm seated on the master. This is the master. If you look at this IP address, but from here, is it 31? Let's go and check it out. 2830. Let's check it out. See, 2830. I am sitting on the master. Is passing information to the worker nodes.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's what he does an API call. He just send the message, get it back to me. Yeah. But in real life scenario, you may not have access to the master, as I said. They will configure your computer from your local terminal where you have your kubectl utility like command that has already been stored. Just after they have configured it, just do ctl get nodes. You just have information about your nodes. From your local, from your utility like command, your CLI, you just be interacting with your clusters.
Okay.
All right.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
I appreciate it. So now I'm going to delete everything afresh to show you the concept of blue-green deployment. Let me see. Before, let me get my deployment. Get service. I'm going to delete everything and kubectl delete deployment. The name of my deployment is deployment 1. kubectl delete svc1. It's the name of my service. Now I'm going to remove the file to recreate them again. To remove the service file to recreate them again. Now, okay, let me explain before we do that. See, in Kubernetes, there's what we call blue-green deployment. Blue-green deployment, you saw when I deployed, okay, say for instance, this is your existing application that people are seeing all over the world. It's your blue. This is your blue right now.
Basically, version 1 and version 2.
Correct, yes, version 1. Now, we want to roll out version 2. That version 2 will be your green, your desired. That is your desire. While your current is your blue. That is the concept of blue-green deployment. What you do, somebody's making sound. I don't know where that sound is coming from. So
the person is snoring.
It's snoring. Exactly. It's like the guy fell asleep for this. Oh, you are missing this important concept. It's okay.
Can you do the same, please?
I can't figure out the person can do. How can I?
I think it's a Tammy or something.
Okay.
Or Prince. I think it's Prince.
Maybe the guy.
Oh my God, Prince is sleeping.
He did a woke up.
Maybe the guy walked at night.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So now, okay, sorry. We're blue. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So now, you see, that time of me flipping from blue to green, the chances that there might be a downtime is pretty high. So companies doesn't want downtime. They doesn't want the application to be down for whatever reason. So they now came up with this strategy of deployment: blue, green. Blue is your version 1, green is your version 2. Blue is your current, blue, green is your desired. So what we would do is that you do a kind of parallel deployment. So once both of them is running, what you now do, you now flip your blue to what? To your green. The only thing you might be asked, just tell them the advantage of this is to avoid downtime. There is no other advantage. But the only disadvantage about this is it's expensive, because you are provisioning 2 clusters at the same time. It's going to be a bill. But if the company can afford that, that is fine. It's not your duty to say, but if there is something they are used to, that is okay. But just know the concept is to avoid downtime, is to provision to deployment at the same time. You have your desired, which is your green, your current is your blue. So let's do that one right now. Right now, you see, there is nothing. If I do, there is nothing on my cluster. If I say get nose pause, if I say get deployment, there's no deployment now. See, everything's empty. So I want to start afresh. First, I'm going to provision the blue, then I'll deploy the green. So let me go back again. I'm going back to go and get my blue. I'm going to copy this one again, which is going to be my RV1. Then just copy, enter I. Then copy everything here. Then I'm going to change image. I think I put the image here already. This one is going to be my V1. Save it, then create kubectl, create -F, the name of my deployment file. Then I'll create a service file for this to expose my application. I will call that one as service file 01. The type is what? No port. I said expose it on 32,000. I will create it. Here, create service file 1. Awesome. If you go back now, you see my application will be there. That will be there. So now I want to create the green. Yeah, go down. I think I have my green here. Okay. The green will be, I will call the name of the green deployment deploy 2. I'm going to go here. I will create 2, enter. Then just copy.
I thought you were doing both like simultaneously, like one command to both of them at the same time.
No, you are going to do it differently, man, because we are giving them different paths.
Got it.
Yeah. So yeah, also we can say, okay, make 4. Let me see. Because I already say, okay, 3 is fine. Just save it. Then I'm going to create this one and close it here. FD2. If I do QCT here, get deployment. Let's see. Let me see that noise. Okay, maybe the first one's already there. Let's give it time for the post to come up.
Excuse me, Kelly.
Go ahead, sir.
So we're gonna change where your name is, the Kelly blah blah blah, to our own when we use and opening the GitHub.
Yeah, well, if you are going to use directly the way it is, it will work for you. But what I was saying in essence is you can pull it to your local terminal, tag it and push it to your repo. You can be using the application for future reference. But for the purpose of this, like you want to make use of that, change whatever, we just change this information here. This Kelly app something to the name of the image so that you can be able to, if I use this, it's going to fail, it will not work because this image doesn't exist. Okay, I don't know if that answers your question, sir. So now let's.
I have a question, Kelly, please. Sorry for.
Go ahead.
Not you first created the first one, the what do you call that? Then before the service application, the deployment file.
Yeah.
Then you created the service file.
Right.
Then you remember we're trying to do blue-green, right?
Yes.
So now then you came down again for the version 2. You created the file, the first file, but you didn't create a service file for it too.
I will create it.
Okay. I was just
if I don't create a service file for that, it will not be able to access it.
I was just curious because you were doing
I've been doing the people. I made the basic people did recover the image. I did use the right image there for us for the deployment to let me tell you how to get that one. Get deployment. Pause. Did you see that? You say image what? Pullback is crashing. Now I want to describe. You see that. You see here. Describe. Pause. I'll tell you now. I tell you that the pause I use this one. Did you see the error pulling the for? Because what I use is not existing. That is fine. I'll do VI. Okay, first I have to delete the deployment. kubectl get deployment. I have to delete 2. kubectl delete deployment. Deploy 2 deleted. Okay, VI 2. I don't know where I got this one from. See, the image is wrong. Yeah, you guys catch that very well. So this is the V2. Yeah. So I'll come back here. Come and change it. So if you, I remember when I first started working with containers, I had this two developers. It's a true life experience. I was trying to say, okay, deploy so application, so version to our cluster. So I believe I did it. So, but for some reason it was not coming up. We started troubleshooting. So later on, we just got one of our senior guy create. He just came. This was what he did. Describe. Immediately he said, okay, this is the port. Immediately he did describe. We saw that the thing was like fail to pull crashing. He said, what version did people try to, when we checked out the version from our repo, absolutely that was the wrong version. The wrong version was not existing. So you can't cheat, So let's see. Let me see 2TTL, get deployment. Did you see that? 3/3. It's already there. Now I want to create a service file for this one, for me to expose this one. So let's go to our blog. Our blog says, then, yeah, let's see, V2. I call the name of this one V2. So without service file, you can't expose your application. Not possible, Kubernetes. Now, I said the node port where I want to expose I can't use 32,000 already because 32,000 has already been used by version 1. So I'm saying expose this application, meaning internally once any traffic is coming on this port 32,600, allow it into your cluster at 8080. The node type. I'm calling this one SVC2. So I'm going to save it now. I'm going to create it. CTL create -f service 2. And let's see CTL get service. You see, 2 of them is there. So now let's go and see the application. So any of them, as I said, let me choose this one. I want to see green. Okay, this is green. I see 32,600. It's rolling, same thing. So what we do, we go to our security group, we open that port in Banrus. 32,600 traffic coming in from anywhere. Save it. We are going to see what will happen here. Did you see that? Now, you have two parallel deployment. This is your current. This is your desire, which is blue. This is your desired, which is green, which your company want to roll out. So what were we going to do? But this is the one people are currently eating, which they are assessing. Well, now you have these two running side by side. What we are going to do, we are going to flip this one over to this green because the green is what we require. So this is, here you have to be very careful, especially on production environment, but the instruction is on our blog. I said, copy, then you go say now, flip the service file, change RV1 to RV2, and I use the apply command. So what do? Go here, copy the service file of what? Service file 1, which we already have. What do? You just flip it over as the RV1 to RV2 to your desired. Change this one to 2. Go down again, change this one to 2. Save it. After you save it now, you use the apply command to apply it. You can't create it again, but you only apply the update. You are going to see now. Service file configure. So let's now, if you go back here, and this is blue, I already changed it to, if I refresh, now it turns green. Because it now flipped over to this one. Now that both of them is green, but this is what people are eating, I have to delete this blue. So how do you do that? We also have the instruction on our blog. We said, after we delete the second service file and the first deployment file, the command that is just there, I'm just going to copy this command, execute them. Service 2 is deleted, deployment 1 file is deleted. Because you can't have the two running simultaneously. If I go back here, if I refresh this one will be gone. Well, this is the one that will be staying here. So, see, it will time out. It's already gone. So, but if I refresh this one will be there for me. So if I do kubectl get deployment, you see that one is already there. I think that concludes our lab for Kubernetes. Now, what we have done since is more than enough for you to do your day-to-day tasks as a DevOps engineer. But there are few exceptions, maybe your company is heavily into Kubernetes, there are some higher kind of I would like to say it, a kind of requirement which they do. There's what we call canary deployment. AB, some call it AB deployment. They call what we call Flagger, but that is beyond the scope of this course. If you find yourself in that kind of environment, you need a lot of other resources. We are already here for you. We are a family. So at this stage, I think I'm ready to take your question. Otherwise, we concluded our lab for Kubernetes and containerization.
Yeah, let me add something. Let me add something to what it says. Guys, if you can effectively, okay, complete these labs 3 or 4 times, I think you can stand and talk about Kubernetes in any interview.
Right, absolutely.
But this pretty much covers, generic. Like you said, right. There's always more. There's always more. You look at the realm of Helm charts. There's always more. Okay, so that one you may need to, some things you learn on the job. But
right, correct.
This will give you a full overview of
Kubernetes.
Okay.
Especially, yes.
Yeah. Do you guys have any questions?
See, at the end of your lab, please don't pause your cluster. Delete. I'm going to show you right now.
Yes,
if you are using 001, make sure you use that same command. Wait for it to delete. It takes around 4-5 minutes or 6. Ensure that I don't want you to come back tomorrow. I'm getting $100, $200 bill. No, delete it. Don't pause it. Come back again and create a fresh one if you want to run the lab again. I'm going to delete mine right away so that you guys will see the way to be executing now. Mine.
Prince.
Yes, ma'am.
I have to head off to work. Video. I take God beg you.
Yeah,
video. No go shame us.
Hey, hello.
Video will be available. It usually takes like 30 minutes to process. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. Once it comes out, I will share it to you. So please abandon every other lab. Focus on Kubernetes and complete it. If you can do these labs over and over, you can do it 3, 4, 5 times, and it sticks. You will never lose it. Okay. So
I'm telling you.
Why Kelly is deleting this? I think I have Valentine. Valentine, are you online?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, Vava.
I just
hey, Baba Kelly.
Congratulations. Yeah. I was so there. You called me which day 2-3 days ago. We're talking
it was that very day they called me back.
Oh wow. I told you you'll be fine.
Yeah.
So Valentine was from this past set that finished a project in August. So I just called him to just give you guys more talk. He'll talk about it.
Valentine.
To encourage you. All right.
Valentine, I hope you have not closed the door. Hope you left the door open.
No, the door is open. The door is open.
All right, Valentine, you have the mic. You have 5 minutes.
Yeah. So good morning, everybody. Yeah. So I was from the last class, and our coach just called me this morning to give a little bit word for everybody. Most of you may know me. I'm a professional mechanic, but the love for computers still drew me back to IT. So it was a tough journey, but I can assure everybody that it will be okay. Just you need to put in some work, put in time, and that job that you're looking for in this particular DevOps field, it is yours. Trust me. What you need to do is follow the instructions, do more researches, and please, that project, put your time in it. The project is what will land you your job. The project is what will land you your job. Some of the jobs out there, mostly right now, a lot of companies are going into Kubernetes and Docker because of their load balancing and their security and their scaling, a lot of them. So if you can too, if this is what will interest you, go into it. If it's Kubernetes that interests you, go into it. If it's CI/CD pipeline that you're really free with to go through and navigate through their tools, go with it. But the most important thing is the project. That's your talking point. Your talking point for your interview, any interviewer would ask you, how was your last project? What was your role in it? Then you start just telling them your narrative. And at least that will give you an edge over any other talking point in the whole of the interview section. But the most important thing is just be serious about it. If you are serious, you get it. That's it.
That's it. I really appreciate that. That is a summary of it all.
Yeah. Do you guys have any questions for him?
Yes, Mr. How can I pull your image to my repo?
Sorry?
Okay, are you having questions for Valentine or opening questions for Valentine first? If you guys are good, then I can let him go.
Please, hey Val, my name is Olaide. So I wanted to ask you, how many stages of interview did you have before landing a job?
For some companies, they just want you to do one interview. Some of them you go through a background interview with a recruiter. Some of them you go through 2 technical interviews. Actually, you go through with the panel and you go through with the hiring manager. But for the one I did, I went through 2 stages of interview. I went through a thorough 30 minutes phone interview with a recruiter. A recruiter asking you questions, that means it's very serious. Then you go through with the panel. Those are 2 different interviews you have to go through.
What the panel interview you had, was it up to an hour?
The panel interview is an hour. They'll always schedule an hour for it. It might be less, depending on what
was just up to or less?
It's up to. Actually, I dragged it to an hour because of the way the panel they were trying to like play tough. So I had to. Most of these interviewers, because I've done interviews and interviews and interviews. So you have to bring up your own game plan. Prince will give you his game plan. Then you bring up your own game plan too. If the interview is not going your way, you have to make it yours. You know.
Mourinho.
Bring up.
Apuchel, not Mourinho.
Bring up stories. If you have to bring something, formulate a story, formulate it that will just sound nice. All they want to see. Sometimes you might not even answer questions correctly, but because of the way you relate with them,
absolutely,
they will just like, okay, this guy can be teachable. You can learn.
Yeah,
so
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I went for a walk-in interview on Friday. The guy interviewing me, he said, yes, you sound like you know what you're doing, but you don't sound like you have much experience in it. But your character, your attitude make me want to hire you. So, you see, even if the experience is not there and you know the stuff, you sound like you know the terminologies, you know how to use the words in IT, because that is another very important thing, the terminologies. You can say, I want to create an EC2 instance. You don't have to say create an EC2 instance because there are other cloud platforms that don't use EC2. So you just say I spin up a server. That word alone that you say has already sold you. You see? The other day, Prince was asking me a question and was like, tell me what you know about Kubernetes. As soon as I say in Kubernetes, you have a cluster, he just said, okay, stop there. You're good. So the terminologies a lot, they matter a lot. Even if you don't know the thing, you just know the terminologies. That will sell you.
That's it. You're right. You said it all.
Valentine, I have a question. So I don't know how long you've been in the job, but what would you advise us, like from what you've learned so far on the job, like what would you advise us? Like
Valentine is fresh. He just finished August. So
okay.
Yeah, so he just got an offer, right? So he's actually not really been on the job per se.
Okay.
The reason is he's giving you his story through the class and through his interview process till the job offer.
Sorry, the recruiter that contacted you, was it through LinkedIn or Indeed or Dice?
sometimes they will not tell you where they are contacting you from, but most
So
of
what
them
I
is
mean,
through
what I
LinkedIn.
mean, where do you have your resume or your?
Yeah, everywhere. It's everywhere.
Okay, I got you.
It's everywhere, but most of them they're through LinkedIn. If your LinkedIn profile is well explained, they will contact you. They will not. You don't even have to apply for the job. They'll contact you.
We'll have a resume interview session. Okay, I'll tell you guys how to push your resume out there and what to expect and a possible strategy to use for fishing job hunting. Okay, it's pretty much the same thing he did. Yep. Do we have any other questions for him? If not, we'll let him go.
Quick question. Are we going to have class on Azure?
No class on Azure.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no class on Azure. The reason is it really doesn't, you cannot learn everything. Okay. The best way, concentrate on one area. What I bet you find out there is there are 3 possible scenarios. Okay. 1 is AWS that has the largest market. 2 is on-prem servers. A lot of companies have their own private cloud. That's not. 3 is Azure, Google Cloud. If you've worked in any of them, pretty much the same principle, the same services talking behind everything. Just different terminology. Maybe AWS will call it EC2. Azure may call it something else. Google may call it something else. They all have load balancing services that they call different names. So if you're in one area, you may likely be able to work in other areas. So students, I have one student that during his interview process, we were interviewing him on AWS and everything. He came to the job and he's doing Azure. You have to learn it. So the key thing is to get in, okay, wherever you find yourself, expose yourself in, then you begin your career from there. Like Kelly, his first exposure was Docker Kubernetes, and then since then, that's the area his career has been focused on. Okay. Same thing, I have Tommy. Tommy, his first exposure is Terraform. So he pretty got really hands-on on Terraform. All his future projects are Terraform. Everything you are going to ask him is Terraform related. He can fight you with Terraform. Same thing in Azure and every other thing. Okay. The courses and the modules we have were well selected, okay, to get you in, and trust me, they will get you in. Did I answer you?
Yes, you did.
Okay, cool.
Before Kelly goes,
yes, sir, I'm right here.
Yeah, I just want to say thanks. The way you taught us Docker and code looks much more easier than what me and some of my guys here we know.
Oh, I really appreciate that.
Yeah, it's much more straightforward. Like yesterday, I was able to knock out Kube like straight up.
Oh,
no, sorry, I was able to knock out Docker straight up. It was not like difficult for me.
Oh, I like that. Thank you so much for that commendation. So it will get better. Trust me. You guys are crushing it. I like the spirit. Now go blow.
Hello, Kelly.
Yes, sir.
How can I pull your image to my repo?
Dude, just do. I think I shared this image with you guys. Do the what they call. Just do the Docker pull. The image. Let me pass this. Okay. Let me give you this command. Docker.
If you go to your lab, I think you have it. How to pull an image.
Yeah,
you have to pull it to your server locally. Okay. Yeah. Then you now push it to your own repo.
Come again, please.
You have to first pull the repo you want to.
Yeah, I just shared it down. I just shared it down. Just use that command from your terminal. You see, pull. Then to go to our Slack, you see it, use it too.
Okay.
This is how you just pull it, then you tag it. After you pull it to your local terminal, then you tag it and push it to your repo.
Okay, I got you.
All right, cool. Valentine will be one of your supervisors. So you guys will have somebody like a supervisor mentor. Okay.
Hello, Miss Kelly. Kelly,
Yes,
this Olasheni, please.
Oh,
I on two questions. Firstly, what can happen? The last this that we did yesterday, on when I got to the part that says sudo docker commit and the image, putting the container ID, new image, and but at the conclusion part, which is sudo docker image, I discovered that you change yours to Kelly application.
Yes.
Which I changed mine also, but as the results, I didn't see mine doesn't change. It still bring out the web or app something, but it shows that it complete, but the name did not change.
Something must be missing. Supposed to change. Did you commit? Did you copy the right image container ID?
The reason why I didn't ask earlier is that it was around 3 a.m. so I was tired, so I haven't repeated the second time.
Maybe,
so
yeah.
maybe I have to try it all over.
Try the second time. Try the second time or watch the video. The video is still there. Okay. This is what you do. Just stroke to the location in that video and just follow the step. Be straightforward.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then the issue of the delete, because when I finished yesterday, I did not do anything like that.
You deleted normally.
You are talking about us deleting so that we incur.
That of your Docker, you can pause it and start later. Or for me, I normally delete. I always come back and create fresh one whenever I want to run the lab.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, guys, we are going to call this a wrap. But remember, after your lab, delete your.
Yes, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, my question is Azure. Azure.
Yeah.
And Google Cloud. Both of them are like the same, right?
Yeah, they are cloud providers. It's just different platform.
Okay. What's the easiest way to do it? Is it Edureka or Coursera?
You can get the course in Udemy. You can get the course in Udemy and do it. There are good courses in Udemy. You don't need to go to Edureka might be too expensive for you.
Okay, Kelly.
Yes.
Okay, Kelly. If they finish the lab, they can go and play with it on playwithdocker.com.
Okay.
Yeah, they don't have to install anything. Just go to Play with Docker and start. Just if you have a Docker Hub account, you can just start.
Exactly. I think what he's saying is the cloud provider services. I think that is what he's asking. Maybe he wants to learn more about the cloud, like load balancer, Route 53, what they call S3 Pocket. I think it's pretty good. There are some good courses you can do. Just get Udemy $15. If you want, I can recommend one or two to you if you want to buy. I'll send you a link out back there.
I need to. You can do that.
Mr. Prince, this is Olasheni. I asked a personal question on your WhatsApp. You haven't asked me.
What's the personal question, please?
I have not seen my name on the project list.
Don't worry, your name will come up, okay?
Okay.
Please, I take on the beg. Can you explain that project? When are we starting?
When you officially start the project, when we are done, we still have Kubernetes to cover. After Kubernetes, we are going to do a lot of stuff that covers deployment, rollback. We'll do pipeline as code, how to use a Jenkins file, and some stuff that I cannot teach you in the class, but I can only teach you in the project. Okay. The way we are going to go about it is we'll start looking at it in bits and pieces. I think the first thing is for you guys to have a feel of Jira. Okay, so I'll give first the leads access to Jira. Okay, then I would kind of go through how you guys can set up a project in Jira, create stories, okay, and what I expect from you, okay. So your project will be the way I always want you guys to follow your project. Jira will actually help because the last guys, they faced this problem. They were looking at it as a whole, but Jira will help you organize everything. Okay, I'll give you a bunch of requirements. All right, one of them would involve setting up documentation. So the first thing you need to do is to set up a wiki server for your documentation. Now the wiki server, you will learn how to do the documentation. You Google, YouTube, you learn it. The guys, I never taught them how to do wiki documentation. The last guys, they did it themselves. They learned how to use it themselves. So it's something you play around, watch Google, you play around, you'll be able to organize your documentation. This will help you have, so that anybody that looks at your project can, okay, this link can take you to this server, this can that, this is the password for this, as in details about your project. That's the first part. The next part will be your infrastructure automation, okay, where you provision your environment. So the last guys, I think they had a dev, UAT, QA, and production environment, okay? But this time, I think maybe I will expand it a little bit, but you are going to have two production environments, production 1 and production 2. There is a reason for that, because I want you guys to learn how to load balance when you're doing deployments. Okay, if one, just similar to what you did in Kubernetes, okay, only that Kubernetes is much more organized. It has everything is within one service, but this one you are doing it on servers. Okay, you are going to look at Route 53. So you actually purchase a domain, maybe that would tally with your team name. Okay, so maybe you could be like teampassion.com. Okay, you have a DNS, okay, that you tie your Elastic Load Balancer to that domain. Okay, and then the Elastic Load Balancer will be pointing to two production servers. So if one goes down, the other one can pick up, and it will share the traffic between the two of them. So you guys will actually do, I'm not teaching it in a class, but I'll teach you during the project, because there are some things you can actually learn while you're doing it, okay? You're going to do your Git branching strategy. At this time, maybe the last guys, the first guys did dev, staging, and production, and master. The next guys, they did feature, dev, feature, master. So probably we may do something, feature, dev, feature, master, something like that, or dev, feature, release, and master. Okay, I'll show you how to do that with Bitbucket. Then the first part would be to provision the developer machines, okay, because the project will be in 5 Windows developer workstations that I'll give you the access. You go and configure it. It will have its gates. It will have everything that you need. Okay, it will just have the project there. So you configure. Okay, you have a common repo that your teammates will have. The last guys, what they did was they had a common account, a common Bitbucket account, and everybody had access to it. And they used, one of them volunteered their AWS account and gave everybody user access. So any which way you guys decide how you want to go about it, okay? Then then you do your infrastructure automation, you configure the project into the repository, and then you're going to do your build pipeline, okay? And then your deployment pipeline, all right? Right now in your lab, you have everything CI/CD, but it's not practical. In most cases, you will not have a CI/CD pipeline in one. Most places, I will tell you, about 80% of places you go to, you have a build pipeline separately and a deployment pipeline separately. So that's the approach we are going to use. Okay, you have a build pipeline separate, you have a deployment pipeline separate. And the last guys, they added in their pipeline email notification. Okay, so this one, you guys are also going to do email notification. I will give you guys room to do some research. Okay, like things I didn't teach you in the class, you would actually go to Google and search, see how it's get done, and you implement it. Okay, you do email notification, and also you also add version controlling to your artifact. You add different versions to it. Okay, it's a simple, and I'll see if you can also add some very good plugins like Blue Ocean that will help in your presentation. Then you do deployment and rollback, okay, using Ansible Tower just to deploy application. And they say, okay, I don't want this version, I want an older version in the Artifactory, and you just you deploy that particular version. What else? You do Datadog continuous monitoring for all your servers. This one we only did for, I think, maybe one server, and you looked at it. You do it for every single server you have. Okay, everything will be on the dashboard. You'll be able to view the metrics, and maybe this time I may add for you to, I want to see the Jenkins metrics. If you can show me the Jenkins metrics on the dashboard, you're going to do some research on that. Then you're also going to do automation, all right? Bash script automation. I'll teach you guys Bash script after your Terraform. You do Bash script automation, where all these commands that you do, the last guys, they did automation of Artifactory in a script. They had one script. You just put the script on the server and boom, it installs Artifactory. You don't need to enter a single command, okay? So you're going to do automation. Maybe you install Artifactory, Tomcat or whatever. And I think the last one will be, if I remember, okay? But it is very intense. The project is very, very intense. Trust me, if you miss the project, okay, you will have issues with your interview. You can even ask Valentine. Valentine, their group, there was some issues with their project supervisor, so they had a lot of issues, okay? And it affected them. He had to go and redo the project again. That's why he's telling you the project is the most important thing, okay? Because he knew where the other guys, after a week, 2 weeks, already they're on a job, because you do a project and you can talk about it. But if you cannot talk about the project, then when you are talking to people, you are not really convincing. Okay, that's just a nutshell about what to expect.
I cover my project supervisor with the blood of Jesus. If you bring any demonic attack,
okay, now guys, you guys will have
more.
Cover
it with your time.
In fact, there are more supervisors than there are more supervisors than there are groups. Usually, it's supervisor per group, but you have more. All the past guys, they are volunteered, so you have more people, more hands. They will bring in their own expertise. And the good thing with project is that there's no rule. You can do it anyhow. Do it any way you think, but we want the expected results to be the same. I don't care how you do it, but as long as the results, some people use Terraform for infrastructure, some people use Ansible, okay? So you can use anyone, okay? If you know CloudFormation, you can use it also. So there's really no rule, okay? So I'll put on that. Does anybody else have any personal question you want to ask me?
For me, I don't have a question. I just want to say thank you to Kelly, the Kubernetes and
thank you very much.
Well broken down and in a very simple language.
We are champions. We are crushing the guys. See, take that project seriously. Honestly, that is just the secret. So
all right, we are going to call it a wrap. No further, there's no further comments. We'll call it a wrap. Thank you guys. Please, please, please leave every other lab, complete Kubernetes. There's a reason why. Complete Kubernetes, finish everything. Once you are done with it, then you can, if you are done with all your labs, then I can listen to lab 0, lab 5, lab 3, whatever you are going through. Once you are, if you can complete Kubernetes, you can do like 3, 4, 5, I think you are good. You are ready. Okay, you are ready. Because what we usually get is some people having problems and like, we did this in the lab now. It now happened that they actually missed that section, or they were not paying attention, or they did not do it. If you do it and do it well, it's not going to be, you won't have any issues going forward. Okay, thank you guys. You are 8 minutes over the board. I really appreciate you. Have a good one. Shout out to, I think we had somebody, Chidima, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Chidima, you're welcome. Okay. I don't know, you joined us a little bit.
That's okay. That's okay. That's okay.
But you're welcome. We'll give you all the support you need to get started. Most of our videos are gone. We don't keep our videos more than a week in, but the Docker and Kubernetes will still stay. I'll leave it. Okay, but I will give you links to what you have available. Okay, I'll send you all the materials that you need. So the blogs are very, very self-explanatory. Okay, so if you
is he in the group?
Yes.
Okay, if you have any problem, just ping me. I should be able to help.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Newman.
Newman has volunteered to bring you up to speed. Okay. So what you can do is, I think you can just attempt the mini project. The mini project covers everything from scratch, and you should be good to go. Okay.
Okay.
If you have any further challenges, just let me know. But if you miss much, don't worry. Okay. The project is the main thing. Okay. So we are going to do everything in the project. So you pretty much, if you don't get much of the things from the class, get it on the project. Okay.
Got it.
All right, cool. Can we call this a wrap?
Thank you, guys. Have a great day.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Kelly.
Thank you.
In the comment section.
Thank you.
Yeah.